how do I explain this? In my spiritual life, I would love to have been Nigerian. I really would have. I really would have. I shared with Pastor yesterday, I said, Nigerians are so interesting. You guys imported the church and are now exporting the church to the countries where you imported the church from. If you go anywhere in the world and you find a community of Nigerians, you will find a church, a business, and a church. And it is, I must tell you, the cause of much envy from the rest of us who come from many other parts of the continent. Because that which for you is second nature and a part of what is a part of your makeup, we are still learning. We are still learning how to make things happen for ourselves. We're still learning how to believe in ourselves. We're still learning how to migrate into foreign territories and terrains and establish a community of those like ourselves. See, we're still new at this project of being intentional about what we want our community to be. Now, what I want to mask over the cracks, so let me be clear, that your beautiful country, beautiful albeit, is not perfect. But if you seek perfection, you will miss the opportunity for improvement. And so the challenge for us young people in the season we are in today is to bemoan less the state of imperfection and to bask more in the opportunity of improvement. Everything we are, everything we present, and everything we export to the rest of the world is a function and a consequence of us seeing first the opportunity for improvement and then seizing it. So, whereas there are those that bemoan that which is not perfect, there must be those amongst us that look for the cracks and create value out of the imperfections. For those of you here who are entrepreneurs, you know this because you do this on the daily. My brother E, who was here on stage earlier, and many others like him from this beautiful land of yours are examples to the rest of us in many other parts of the continent of what I call the true spirit of what it means to be a Nigerian. Now allow me, if you will, to be a bit facetious in my approach today, even presumptuous. Allow me to tell you how the rest of us from outside of this beautiful land of the yoga see your country from the outside. First, Nigeria is chaos. Wow. I genuinely think Jesus wakes up on a Sunday and goes, yo, wow. They're still doing it. It's chaos. Absolute chaos. And so, where do you find value? Is you find value in spaces where there is chaos. The reason Nigerians thrive no matter where in the world you are is whereas those of us who come from perfect environments of cushioned order get jolted into the chaos of reality. When you guys find yourself in chaos, you go, look, home. Woo! What a gift. Pastor, on the drive here, my calf muscles pulled a sprain because I kept clinching so many times, my buttocks together, as we were migrating through the traffic. Now, in the country I come from, we have these things on the road called lanes. Glory to God, glory to God, glory to God. It's a crazy idea this thing called the lane. But basically, the simple theory behind it is this: that you take a single block of black tar and you draw upon this block white lines, and that these lines should serve as demarcations of how we behave on the road. There are some rules to go with these lines. The one rule is that if the line is solid, you may not switch from the one end of the line to the other. Nigerians didn't get the memo. You guys just jump up from the one side to the other. There is another rule, that if there is a section of this tar that has got yellow markings in it, the yellow markings designate an island. It's a crazy thing, this thing of an island. It means that none amongst us should populate it. No, not in Nigeria. So on the drive here, I watch and enjoy. I mean, this is a true story. They have now made 10 Fast and Furious movies. I challenge Hollywood to make a Fast and Furious Lagos. I challenge them. I want to see something. Yeah. So I arrived here yesterday, and the incredible, and the good people here at Covenant Nation have been so judicious in getting us here and diligent. True mark, by the way, honestly, and I'm not saying this because Pastor and Mummy are in front of me, but a true mark of what it's taken to build this place. I shared last night over dinner that anybody who looks at platform and what this platform has become, anybody who looks at what Covenant Nation has become, and looks in particular over the growth trajectory of the past 36 months, will miss the 20-year foundation it took to make the 26 months manifest. And so a lot of us, I think, in particular young people, miss the lesson about being instrumental, judicious, and diligent in how you sow your seeds in the season of sowing. So that when the season to reap comes, this is important, it finds you in equal measure, not only in your talent, but also in your character. There are some of us who miss the fruits of our labor, not because you didn't have the talent to labor, but because you didn't have the character to protect the fruits. And so required of us then is not only the intelligence and the understanding of the opportunities, but also the character of what it takes for preservation. I said this to my own son, my oldest son, who's 12 years old. I said to him, you must understand that in building dynasties, there is a different requirements of each and every single emperor. There is the emperor whose role it is to establish the dynasty in the first place. This is the age of accumulation. And accumulation requires a different kind of intonation. It requires a different kind of proclivity, a different kind of attitude, a different kind of character. When you're in the accumulatory stage of your stage, your life, your career, your business, your mental space, that means your character needs to be that of an insatiable appetite. Constantly going to new spaces and new terrains, learning new languages, advancing into new markets, taking courageous risks where others think you should not. That's the role of the emperor in the stage of accumulation. There are some of you in this room who are in your stage of accumulation. The wisdom of the ages is to recognize when there is a shifting of the order. When it changes from accumulation to preservation. When it's no longer about what do we acquire, but what do we protect. And how do we build the necessary instruments to preserve that we have accumulated? Too many of us in our communities know all too often the stories of families that were wealthy at a point in time and then misused or misplaced their wealth. It is perhaps the one thing that will keep up any parent who's raising children in the sophistry and comfort of wealth is, will they have the character to preserve that which I have accumulated? Now, to accumulate, one needs the insatiable appetite of the predatory animal that marches across the savannah, constantly conquering new territories and new terrains. But to preserve, it's a different character. Subtle, more judicious. Smart and intelligent in how it takes risks. And both of these, necessary, but are different in how we build and how we scale. So yesterday, when I arrived at the airport, one of my favorite things about coming to Nigeria, there's a video of mine that went viral and trended on social media. And by the way, let me just say, because I've never said it publicly before, to each and every single one of you, my brothers and sisters, who has shown me support, thank you. I really appreciate it. You owe me nothing. I get the most incredible amount of love and support from my brothers and sisters here in Nigeria. And I want to say thank you. Take the moment to say thank you. There is a video of mine that trended on social media, and I was talking about the hustler spirit that Nigerians have here. Most of you, if you've not traveled outside of your own country, would not be aware of this, but this hustler spirit that's built into your DNA, that oozes out of the red in your blood if you were to cut your skin, that makes up a fundamental part of who you are. That hustler spirit is foreign to some of us in other parts of the world. It's so deeply ingrained in who you are that we misunderstand it and we make enemies out of you. We find you in our markets and in our territory, and we think you're the enemy rather than we learn from how you move and how you do things. Now, there are some who will find the bad apples and say, but look at the bad apples. Well, show me any nation, any group, any civilization, or any tribe that does not amongst it have a rotten few apples. The opportunity for us as Africans is to bridge the gap. It's to reach across the divide and say, what can I learn from my brothers in Lagos or Port Harcourt or in South or Southwest? What can I learn? So I arrived at the airport yesterday, and I immediately know, as I get off the plane, I'm like, right, Vusi, we're in hustler land. Get ready for the hustle. And I love how Nigerians hustle you out of money. They call it a blessing. You have no blessing for me, oh. And so as we make our way through the airport, every person I meet asks for the blessing. Now, the first time I came here, I blessed everybody. Because I didn't know you can say no. And my bank account wants to thank you for teaching me how to say no. I've learned so much about how to say no without saying no coming here in Nigeria. It's just been the most incredible experience. I want to say the following: take not for granted this hustler spirit that keeps your nation alive. Do you know, in every single economy, in every single marketplace, across the length and breadth of this beautiful continent we call home, if you look for a landmark company changing the terrain, you will find a Nigerian in the top 3. So there is a lot for us to learn then from each other. And for me, one of the things I learn is there is so much to glean from a people who can make order out of chaos, who can make navigating the Lagos traffic something they do on the daily to work and back, without having to take any substances to dull their senses. This is